Hey guys, just wanted to do a follow-up video on my Colt Combat Commander, which I had sent off back in March for some issues that I had found with it. The first one that I had was that the front sight was drifted too far to the right, and it was causing my groups to go low and left. So I sent it off for that. I had also sent it off for some fit and finish issues. And if you guys were able to stomach my first video, then you'll understand what I was talking about. So a couple weeks ago, I got a call from one of the representatives over at Colt, and that they had told me that the ejector pin hole had been drilled completely through the frame when they had disassembled it and was doing their final inspection on the gun. And therefore, they were wanting to replace my firearm completely. So what I'm holding here is not the original firearm that I had sent to Colt. This is actually a brand new firearm issued to me by them. Of course, I had to go back down and fill out, the federal paperwork, wait the 72 hours to receive it. But I was really impressed that they went ahead and did that. Of course, they're probably held to that as a liability, but anyways, also wanted them to do some checkering on the front strap. And I'll tell you what, guys, I think they did just a phenomenal job on that front strap checkering. Don't really know why front strap checkering doesn't come standard on a lot of your firearms, especially 1911s, but maybe it's got something to do with, the vast majority of people out there. Maybe they don't like that. But to me, I think it just feels so much better in my hand with that checkering on the front strap. I cannot wait to get out to the range and see how she shoots. They were kind enough to send me a test target with this firearm. They used 230 grain full metal jacket at 25 yards, and I'll roll some footage in of that. I'll also roll some footage in of a diagram, kind of better explaining what they had found on my previous firearm to be wrong. Anyways, you guys already see that the firearm has been safety checked. There's no magazine in the firearm, and there's no round in the chamber. And what you see on top there, for those of you who don't know, but I'm sure many of you do, that is my Glock 43 that I decided to pick up for my summer concealment carry option. Too big for summer, just right. Anyhow, have not had a chance to fire this yet. Wanting and hoping to get down to the range tomorrow. I'll take both firearms down there and put some rounds through them and see how everything's functioning. But so far, I can't really say too much about the 43 that most people don't already know. It is a single stack 9mm, holds 6 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber for a total of 7 rounds. One of the aftermarket mods that I've already gone and done is I've installed a set of Talon grips on the 43, which I find them just incredibly awesome for $20. And for the ease of installation, I mean, you really can't go wrong. I've got the rubberized texture. Figured that for concealed carry, that would probably be a little bit easier on me rather than the sandpaper texture, or grip tape texture as they call it. And I also purchased the decal for the magazine with the extended base plate there, which is the one that I primarily carry. Now, I will tell you, for me, I don't mind having this mag in the gun, just the standard flush fit mag. Even though my pinky does kind of drift off into outer space on the bottom of that 43, it doesn't bother me. And especially now that I've got the Talon grips on there, I find that guys, if you've never held on to a set of Talon grips, you really need to, because it just makes a huge difference, and it does not add a lot of girth to the pistol itself. I mean, it really does feels really good in the hand. And again, the installation was super simple. You just clean the area with alcohol wipe that they include in the package, and go ahead and test fit it, and then just slowly, you know, I started in the front here. You can see the ridge line right here. I started in the front, and what I did, instead of peeling the entire backing off of the decal, I just peeled off what I was working with at the time, and then just slowly started putting everything into place, continuing around on the back strap, getting everything, you know, stuck into place where I wanted it. Pay attention to your magazine ejection. You know, pay attention to that, because you don't want it protruding. You don't want the decal covering that. Otherwise, when you go to drop your mag, you're going to end up pushing that decal off of the grip. It might become a problem. But anyhow, once you've got everything put into place and where you want it, then you can either take a heat gun or a hair dryer, and on a low setting, I have a heat gun, so I use the low setting, heat the whole thing up, and just keep pressing firmly in place until you're satisfied that everything's stuck where you want it, and just let it cool down. So Talon Grips, giving a big shout out to them. I'm really impressed with that product, and for what little I paid for it. If they wear out or I decide to do something different, I just peel them right off and go a different route. You know, I'm not a huge fan of stippling. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, but you know, once you've stippled the handgun, you can't go back from there. So, you know, I don't find that that's something that I'm going to do. Moving on, for concealment holster, I decided to go with JM4 Tactical. If you guys are not familiar with this company, you need to get familiar with them quickly. They are outstanding. The quality of the product is just mind-boggling. Yes, you are going to pay a little bit of money for it, but in my opinion, I mean, if you're, you know, if this is your daily carry, you want to protect your handgun, you want the best available accessories that you can get for your concealed carry option. I like JM4 Tactical because they got the Herman Oak stitched inside the Boltron shell. Yes, Boltron. It is not Kydex. This supposedly is a much stabler, or more stable, excuse my grammar, form of material, which holds up to heat and probably body sweat and all kinds of other elements, and this, that, the whole 9 yards. Got the 1 3/4 belt clip. This is the in the waistband appendix carry. I wanted to appendix carry my 43. Just feels really comfortable. I wore it all day today before doing the video, and it's just awesome. Now, something else, you know, you don't have to use this as an appendix carry. You can actually put this, say, on your 5 o'clock. There's no reason to think that you couldn't, just because it doesn't allow you to camp the clip. That shouldn't make any difference. I mean, my God, people, look how small that handgun is. If you can't draw that up and out in a timely fashion, then you need more practice. So just because you can't adjust the cant on this is not a game changer for wearing it on the 5. So that is my JM4 Tactical. I don't think I talked too much about this one in my first video, but this is also by JM4 Tactical, and this is for my 1911. I originally bought this one for a Springfield Champion operator, hence why you see the Picatinny Royal section down there, or molded into the leather itself. There you can kind of get a better look there. I will caution you guys, this one was cashy. This one was over $100, and you're going to need about a month to break a brand new one in. It was nearly impossible to draw my firearm from this holster when I first got it. It needs such a break-in period. It's just ridiculous. And so when I got rid of my Springfield Armory, because I promise you I'll never do another aluminum lower frame firearm again, or 1911. I won't do that again. It's going to be all steel from here on out when it comes to a 1911. When I traded that off for my Colt, I was hoping I could get away with using this holster with that firearm, and sure enough, I can. It fits just like a glove, and the draw is smooth. It's consistent. It's a lot easier. I'm sure that's got a lot to do with the fact that I've already broken this firearm in. It maybe it's got a little bit more to do with the fact that it's got this little bit of extra room down here meant for that Picatinny rail. But like I said, when I first got this holster for the Springfield, it was just a nightmare getting that firearm in and out of that holster. And something else too, if you can see it right there at the seam where it's stitched at. Every time I would draw that Springfield, I would take out just a huge chunk of leather from the front sight. The front sight on that Springfield was so sharp. The one on the Colt, it's not so bad. I mean, it definitely is not as bad as the Springfield was, but you could cut glass with that front sight on the Springfield. I have to be honest with you, I'm glad I got rid of it. As far as functionality goes, the Springfield, I mean, it was fine. I mean, it shot fine, this, that, the whole 9 yards, but I've got a video up there about that Springfield, and it's even more long, drawn out, and boring than the one for the Colt. But, it explains the issues that I had with that Springfield. I started noticing some stress cracks in the lower aluminum frame with that firearm, and just wasn't going to have it. I carry a 45 during the fall and winter months, only because I can wear more clothing, I can wear a jacket, and so it's a lot easier to conceal my 45. And I'm a huge 1911 fan. I've always wanted one. Super happy to own a brand new one from Colt. I think that's about it, guys. Wanted to thank everyone that watched my, cheesy video. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Please leave comments below, especially pertaining to the G43. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go after this with aftermarket mods, but I have been thinking quite a bit about getting some Trigicon fiber optics. Getting the fiber optic front and blacked out rear for my sights. I am not going to do tritium, so please don't suggest that. I think tritium is ridiculous. My opinion on tritium night sights is if you can't identify your target before you fire at it, then you shouldn't be in that situation. Or if you have the opportunity to escape from that situation, you should. You should not be firing on a target that you can't identify, even if it is a threat. You have no idea what that target is beyond your firearm. So if you can't identify it, you need to flee from it. And if you can't flee from it and you know that it's going to be a threat, then that's the time that you need to take action. I'm sure I'll get a lot of people who disagree with me on that, but I don't see any reason, period, to put tritium night sights on anything. I like the fiber optic sights that I've seen by Trigicon during the day. Like, for example, during the day, like out at the range, at least in my experience, the white dots, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but during the day, but if you get the right kind of glare, the right kind of sunlight hitting them, they're kind of hard to pick up. And for me, I've looked at fiber sights, and I'm convinced that's the way that I'm going to go. That's just my own personal preference. So that's what I'm going to do. Go with the set of Trigicon fiber sights. Let's see, what else? Thinking about doing a Wheaton Arms flat face trigger with a 3.5 pound connector for this. And I don't know, possibly maybe doing a Cerakote on the slide. Not sure yet. Right now I'm just enjoying it for what it is, and I want to get it out to the range and get some rounds through it and just have some fun with it, get some good practice with it, and then we'll see where we go from there. But like I said, I mean, please leave comments. Let me know what you think.